You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows like the one you're about to enjoy, visit electronicmediacollective.com. And now, our feature presentation.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Comics with My Kids podcast. I'm your host, Matt D, and with me today is...
Logan D.
And today we're covering Logan's favorite Dogman book series. We are covering what, Logan?
Dogman, For Whom the Ball Rolls.
And that is book what?
7.
Book 7 of the Dogman book series.
I think it's kind of weird because it's episode 8.
That's okay, because I did one with your sister, so it doesn't matter what episode number it is. Just know that this is actually Dogman Book 7. So why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about Dogman Book 7?
Okay, so chapter 1's called...
Oh, wait. Did we talk about who wrote it?
No.
No.
But you would probably figure because it's in every single other episode.
That's true. And the man who wrote this book was?
Dave Pilkey.
All right. I love that enthusiasm. So go ahead and start talking about Book 7.
I'm not going to do the intro. It's the same as always. So, chapter 1's called Rays of the Planet of the Cats. And I think that's kind of weird, because it sounds weird, don't you think, Dad?
No, please explain.
Rays of the Planet of the Cats. I feel like there's some wrong words in that.
That's not Rays, it's Rise of the Planet of the Cats.
Oh.
Which you haven't, I don't think you've seen it yet, but there's a movie series called Planet of the Apes. And that's the exact same look, but it would have apes on the front of it. You know what an ape is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a
So there was a movie called Rise of the Planet of the Apes. So they're making fun of it. They're calling it Rise of the Planet of the...
Cats.
Yep. All right.
And Petey's the leader of them all on the cover.
All right. And for our new listeners, who is Petey?
Petey is the bad guy.
Yeah. Can you please step a little closer to your microphone?
And if you want to learn more about Petey, you may want to go back to the previous ones.
Right, because we have covered all about Petey, who is Dogman's arch nemesis from books 1 through 6. You can either hear our reviews on them, or you can go out and pick up a copy of Dogman, books 1 through 6.
But in this one, in the last one, he became a good guy.
So he's now he's flipped from being the bad kitty to a good kitty?
Yeah, and then Big Jim is a big cat who tells Petey that he's on the news. And so when Petey gets there, he finds out that he's a hero from saving saving the people.
Who's the hero?
Petey.
Petey's a hero for saving people? How do he save people?
He went inside of a building that was on fire and took people out.
Oh, was that from the previous book, or is that something that happened just now?
Previous book, and I'm not going to talk all about that because you got to find out about that yourself.
Oh, okay, because you don't want to spoil the previous book.
Yeah.
But for those people who have read the previous book, spoiler warning, we're going to give out a little bit of what happened in book 6 with what's in book 7. Well, yeah, it's just natural, buddy, because book 7 picks up where book 6 left off. So.
And since dogs helped save the day, all the dogs got promoted.
Wait, I thought Petey saved the dog, or saved the animals.
No, well, the dogs saved people too.
Which dogs?
All the dogs.
All the dogs? So it's definitely something that happened in the last book.
Yeah, and so now all the dogs are free.
Cool.
But Petey didn't get a pardon.
Why isn't he out of jail? I thought you said he was a good guy.
Well, he just saved it, but he's now going to plan to get out of jail.
Okay.
And the next part's where Dogman again gets distracted because Dogman catches a bad guy in a dead end, but then the bad guy uses a ball to hypnotize Dogman, and then Dogman goes after the ball and the bad guy gets away.
Oh, really?
And then it's a fliporama.
Ah, the wonderful fliporamas.
If you don't know what a fliporama is, go into one of the previous ones.
Well, what if we have a new listener that hasn't listened to the backlog, hasn't listened to all the previous episodes? In 2 words, how would you say a fliporama is?
You flip in between 2 pages.
Okay, that's good.
And so I think it's kind of funny how Dogman chases after the ball and knocks Chief out of all his clothes.
Hey, Logan, can you sit closer to the microphone, please?
Sorry.
I need you to stay as close as possible, almost as if you're gonna, eat the microphone.
Oh.
And don't talk louder when you get close to the microphone. Just try to move closer to the microphone. The level that you're at is good. I just need you to be a little closer to it.
And now Dogman has to go home.
Where's he going? Why does he have to go home?
Because the bad guy got away.
Oh, okay. So his work day's over?
Yeah. And now, Little Petey and ADHD are going to help Dogman no longer be distracted.
Oh, yeah? How are they gonna do that?
They drew playing cards, shuffled them up, pulled them out, and if he got one right, he would get a treat. But if he gets one wrong, he got to take a bath.
What would he get wrong or right?
Well, he's got to focus.
Focus on what? What's on
Not
the
going after them.
What's on the playing cards?
Different things. Like if
An
Little
example?
Petey pulls out a squirrel, Dogman's got to try not to go after it. If he goes after it, then he gets a bath.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So they're obedience training cards, so that he learns not to run after things and get distracted while he's out in the field. So does he pass? Does he actually stop running after squirrels?
Nuh-uh. He takes a lot of baths, and then finally he gets scared of them instead of goes after them.
Oh, okay.
Which the problem with that is now if someone uses a ball uses bad guy balls, then that might cause a problem since Dogman's now afraid of balls.
Oh, okay. So instead of teaching him to stay, it actually taught him to be more afraid.
It taught him to stay, but since he hates baths so much, it taught him to be scared.
Oh, so now he associates balls and squirrels with a bath?
Because he knows that if he goes after them, then he'll have to take a bath.
Ah. So if I was, say, a bad guy, and I wanted to stop Dogman, I could just throw a ball at him, and then he'd cower in fear?
He would be scared of it, but once the ball is gone, he'll go after you.
Ah.
So you need one ball that chases him around.
Ah.
Kind of like what we have in this chapter later on, which we're not going to get to.
Oh, okay. So what happens after Dogman goes through his training? What happens next?
Next, it's about how P's going to plan and get every single cat out of jail.
Okay. Well, hold on a second. I see something that I love in most comic books. Whenever they go from one spot to another, there's usually a word they use, and that word is meanwhile. So there on top of your page, what do they have saying it?
Meanwhile.
Yep. So meanwhile, cat jail. Petey's working on a escape attempt.
Yeah, and there's the fleas on his whisker.
Fleas on his whiskers. Oh man, that's terrible to get fleas. I hate
No,
having
one
fleas.
flea. I mean one whisker.
One whisker?
And by the way, they're not real fleas.
They're not real fleas.
It's a pig, a crocodile, and whatever that thing is.
It's a gorilla.
Oh.
So why aren't they real fleas? Why are they still called? Why are they called fleas?
That's the name of their of what they call themselves.
Oh, that's their evil group name.
Yeah, and then they
Like
got
the
shrunk.
like the Legion of Doom, but they're the fleas.
And they got shrunk, so now they're on his whisker
Wait. How'd they get shrunk?
by a shrink ray. No, we are not talking about it.
Why
In
not?
order to find out, you gotta read this book and the last one.
Oh, so it happened in the last book, or was it the was it the book before that?
Book 5, I think.
Book 5, which is called Dogman and the Lord of the Fleas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the fleas are still in the book. They're just tiny, about the size of an actual flea. Then.
Yeah.
All right. So what happens? How does the fleas come into the picture with Petey?
Well, as Petey's planning to get out of jail, he gets promoted.
He gets what?
Promoted.
Promoted?
Yeah, he's free.
How can Petey get he didn't get promoted. He got released.
Yeah.
He got a pardon.
Oh.
How's it spelled in that book?
Pardoned.
Yep, that's pardoned. That means that he is released from jail for being good.
And then he gives up on helping them.
Gives up on helping who?
The cats.
Oh, right. Because he was going to help the cats get out.
And him.
Right. But now he got promoted, so he's like, forget you guys. I'm out of here.
Big Jim hugs Petey, which there's a problem for the fleas about that. They now switched cats. They wanted to hypnotize Petey, so now they're going to hypnotize the other cat.
Which other cat? Big Jim?
Big Jim.
Ah.
And then Petey goes home and buys stuff for his kid who he's going to take back to his house. Because it was his kid in the first place.
Right, because he was way back in what, book 2? A Tale of Two Kitties?
Book 3.
Book 3, A Tale of Two Kitties. We learned that Petey ended up cloning himself, but because the clone has to grow up, he has to wait 18 years for an exact duplicate. So now we have Petey Jr., which again you can read about in book 3, or you can go back and listen to our review on the episode 3, Dogman book 3, A Tale of Two Kitties.
Well,
Closer,
Petey Jr.
closer
has
to the
a
mic.
name.
Closer to the mic.
Petey Jr. has a name.
And what's Petey Jr.'s name?
Little Petey.
Ah, I thought it was Petey Jr.
Nope.
Okay, so it's Little Petey. All right, so we got Little Petey, we got Big Petey, we got Dogman, we got ADHD. Are they all living together, or is Petey going to...
Little Petey's going home with Little Petey.
Little Petey's going home with Little Petey, or you mean Little Petey's going home with Petey?
Yeah.
Yeah, that gets confusing.
And
Where was Little Petey living while regular Petey was in jail?
at Dogman's.
Oh, that's right, because they're crime-fighting heroes, right? They're the dynamic duo, the
Super Buddies.
super buddies. That's right. Not to be confused with the terrific two, or the terrible twosome.
No way.
I'm making stuff up, buddy. Anyway, meanwhile, back in the book.
And Little Petey's being happy and thinking everything's great when Petey points something bad about it.
What's that?
Well, in the first one, Little Petey points out flowers, but Petey says they're weeds.
Wait,
Little
oh, they're like going on a walk or something?
Yeah, they're walking home, and Little Petey calls it a pretty rake, but it's polluted.
Polluted?
By one single can floating.
What is it? Is it a river?
Yeah.
Ah.
And then little Petey says to look at the stars, but there's mud everywhere on the ground.
So is little Petey... Little Petey's the one that's pointing out the pollution, right? And the mud?
No, Petey's pointing out the pollution.
Ah.
And then when
And then
they
do they get home?
yeah, and they
So
have
now we're into what, chapter 5?
yeah, and they have an argument of where they're gonna sleep. And I think it's funny because it goes, I'm not sleeping in there. I'm sleeping with you. And then Petey goes, no, you're not. And the little Petey goes, yes, I am. And then keeps going back and forth like this. No, you're not. Yes, I am. No, you're not. Yes, I am. No, you're not. Yes, I am. Here's the funny one. No, you're not. Blah, blah, blah. Because he's brushing his teeth.
Oh. So it's kind of like having an argument with you and your sister. I tell you guys it's time to go to bed, and you're like, no, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Blah, blah, blah.
All right, so after little Petey brushes his teeth and they argue over where they're sleeping, then what happens?
Then they get a bedtime. Then little Petey gets a bedtime story. Then Petey arranges days where little Petey can go with Dogman and ADHD, and little Petey can stay with Petey.
Oh, okay, so they're kind of like sharing custody of little Petey?
On the weekends, they're staying with Dogman and ADHD. But on the week, he's staying with Petey.
Oh, okay. So why would Dogman get the weekends? Is that because they're crime fighters?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, they just worked it out that way?
Yeah.
All right. Just take...
And then it's
Hold on, wait. Take a moment to pause. I got a question to ask you that I want to cut it out. I just didn't want to interrupt you on the next step. So, how many more chapters do you want to cover before we go into?
I just want to finish up this chapter.
Okay. All right. Cool. So then, all right. So, wait, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Go.
Next, we have is a fliporama, but you're not calling it a fliporama. They're calling it a joyorama because they're so happy.
Oh, really? Does it work the same as a fliporama, or do you have to like dance around too?
It's the same.
Oh, okay.
They just call it a joyorama because of the way it goes.
Gotcha. You really like those fliporamas, right?
You're the one who likes them.
Oh, well, what can I say? I like the little animation.
And then little Petey sleeps in Big Petey's bed.
So where does Big Petey sleep?
In his bed.
Oh, so they're stuck sleeping together?
Yeah.
And I'm sure little Petey's probably kicking Big Petey in the leg, or...
No. In the next chapter, it's his face.
Oh, it's his face?
And his stomach.
Ah, it's kind of like when you guys come in our bed in the middle of the night and start kicking us.
And now that's the end of the chapter.
That's the end of the chapters that you want to review?
Yep.
All right, cool. So, without spoiling the end, is it a good book? Do you really like it?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the last of the Dogman. This is the latest book that came out. So we have to, how long do we have to wait for the next Dogman book?
I think it comes out in March.
In March?
I don't know. It's March or July. I mean June.
There's a lot of time between March and June.
First month of the year.
First month of the year? That would be January. Tell you what, why don't you take a peek in the back of the book and see if they have anything in there that tells you when the next book comes out?
I thought they only had that in Halo, but okay.
Well, you never know. It might even be the last page. Hey, speaking of the last page, so I noticed that in the back of the books there's some neat stuff. What's some of the what they call back material? What do you see some of the things back there? Not that page, but the page before it. What can you do with that stuff?
It's a drawing.
Drawing? So you learn how to draw what?
Different people from the book.
Oh, okay. Hey, wait a second. That last page there that says the end, is that the final end? I mean, is the book series over?
No, that's just the end of the book.
End of the book, so they at least left something open so that the next book can come out?
Yeah.
Cool.
And on the first one is my favorite one. I just want to say it.
What?
Commander Cupcake.
Commander Cupcake? And who's Commander Cupcake?
Big Jim.
Oh, yeah?
But now he got hypnotized into becoming a cupcake hero.
Oh, interesting. So that's something that's further on in the book?
Yep.
Ah, neat. I look forward to hearing about Big Jim, the cupcake. What is it? Commander Cupcake.
Commander Cupcake.
Cool. All right, so what is your favorite part of this particular book?
I don't know.
You don't know? Who's the main bad guy in this book then? Is Petey still the main bad guy, or is it
No, the bad guy from the first book.
the first book? So Petey.
Dr. Scrum.
Dr. Scrum? There was a Dr. Scrum?
Yep.
I don't remember a Dr. Scrum in the first book.
First book, chapter 2. He's the guy who created the robot that replaced Chief.
Really?
Maybe you should listen to Dogman 1.
Or maybe I'll go back and reread Dogman 1 to see where that's at. Something matter?
Nothing.
Okay.
I just think it's fun doing this.
All right. So we covered the first part of the book. We've learned that Petey's now out of jail. Petey's a good guy, and he's splitting custody with Dogman over Petey Jr.
Little Petey.
Or Little Petey, sorry. The bad guy is Dr. Scrum, which we haven't been introduced in this book to Dr. Scrum, but apparently he was in book 1. All right, so I tell you what, we'll go ahead and wrap this up.
It's over anyways, Dad.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap this up then, okay? Well, this has been Comics with My Kids. I'm Matt D.
I'm Logan D.
And this has been Dogman Book 7. Thank you for listening, and if you can, write into the show at 60sreboot@gmail.com. And thank you for listening.
Bye.